Welcome to episode, okay, we are on unit 5. That's embarrassing. Okay, welcome to, I'll just guess, episode 6 of Landon's Guide to High School Math. I'm Landon Pitts, I'm your host. We are in the Pre-Algebra course, and today we are doing exponents intro and order of operations. If you have watched my last video, you have know that we kind of covered order of operations, and if we go ahead and take a look at this roster, it looks like we're going to be able to do all of this in one episode. So, let's get to it. Okay, meaning of exponents. So, what's an exponent? Well, an exponent is a number. So, if you take x, the main number, this is a integer, and then raise it up to a number like 4 or 5 or whatever, this is an exponent right here. This right here is an exponent. And it basically means you're going to multiply this a certain amount of times. For example, if you take 7 and then 3, you are going to multiply 7 3 times, which means 7 times 7 times 7. 1, 2, 3 times. That's an exponent. And we call that exponentiation. And it may sound hard to spell, but that's fine. You don't need to know how to spell that. So, let's do the exact same thing here. Write the expression in exponential form. 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. So we take our first number, 8, and then how many times does 8 appear here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer here would be 8 to the power of 4, since we're multiplying 8 4 times. So we do 8, and then I just press, there's like a little thing above the 6 on your keyboard. You can do that. And if you're on mobile, then you can go to this thing right here. So I'll go ahead and just show that real quick. You can press 8, and then you can press, okay, I can't really. You can press, it's right over here. So if you go, so if I go ahead and draw, it's this thing right here. You press that, and then, nope. So if you press that, then you press the second one. So see where I'm pointing right here, and then whoa, no, not that. So, but I mean, you can also do it in parentheses as well. So that means that this will work, but this will, no, not 4. So this will work, and this will work. Right here. Both of those will work. So it doesn't matter. Like, see, this will work and this will work. Now, eventually, when you get to, like, when we start doing, like, negative exponents, like negative 4 to the power of 4, parentheses do matter. Because a common mistake that many people do is they mistaken this for multiplying negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. So, negatives are a different element from the main number. 4 is, so, like, this right here is basically like this. It's like this right here. So, it is like 4 times 4, you do this first, and then you do the minus. Well, this one, this one you actually do negative 4 because you're combining these elements together. So, that's how you do that. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation, and here are the videos, and you can ask me for help in the comments as well, and happy studying. Okay, matching this expression to its expanded form. So, let's see here. What we want to do is we want to understand the meaning of exponents. So, exponents are repeated multiplication. So, when we find exponents, we want to find repeated multiplication. 2, 5, we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, it's multiplied 5 times. This should be here. 5 to the power of 2 is 5 times 5, yeah, because 5 is multiplied 2 times. 2 times 2, so that is repeated addition. So what is that going to be? 2 times 2, yep. And then process of elimination is 5 times 5, but we know that because 5 multiplied 2 times is 5 plus 5. So this is our answer. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. And here's the videos, and happy studying. You can always pause it if you want to as well, so don't forget that. You can always pause the video to answer the question right here. You want to pause it? Go ahead. All right, let's solve this. So we have 3 multiplying that 5 times, so we're given here. It does not do that. It says 3 times 5, so this is false. 3 to the 5 and 5 to the 3. These are not interchangeable, so they can be if you're depending on what you're using, but generally these are not interchangeable, so it's not this either. Okay, 1 to the 3rd and 5 to the 3rd. So again, these are not interchangeable, so this is false as well. So all of them are false. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Here's the videos. Happy studying. Okay, write the explanation in exponential form. So here we have 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. So let's count the 9s. How many 9s are there? 7. So we have 9, and then we have 7. Multiplied 7 times. So it is 9 to the power of 7. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Boom, there we go. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Videos, and happy studying. Very, very good, everyone. You guys are doing amazing. And yes, I did go a little fast, so if you want to go back and review, we can definitely do that. And look at that. Look at how much, we barely have to do anything today. This is going to be a very quick episode. Okay, here we go. Evaluate. So, now we're just going backwards. So, 5, 2, that means we're multiplying 5 2 times. And this includes the first one. So, like, don't make this mistake and be like, oh, 2. So, we have to include this and then 2 of them. Nope. 5 to the 2 means there's 2 in total. So, this is it. 5 times 5 is 25. Good job. That's the answer. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Here's the videos. Happy studying. And they did put a dot. I will put multiplication just for the purpose of it. But when you get to algebra 1, you will have to grow out the x. I know. It's kind of awkward that the teachers taught that in the first place. Okay, so alright, next problem. Evaluate 3 to the 3rd. So we're doing 3 times 3 times 3, right? And then we get 27. I know this was a little hard, but here's a little cool trick you could do. If you do 3 times 3 first, or even any number, you get 9, and then you multiply that by 3, and now it looks a little easier, right? You can so like this, and this. Oh, and if you want to be really weird, this are all the same. They'll equal 27 no matter what. Nothing you can do. So anyways, yeah, it's 27. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. So yeah, I'm kind of going a little fast because I feel like my videos are kind of wordy and like, So if you guys like the way I'm teaching, I hope you enjoy it. So here's the video and happy studying. Okay, let's move on. Evaluate 1 to the 5th. Any number to the power of... Okay, so 1 to the power of anything is just 1. Because think about it. You're doing 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, etc. And anything times 1 is 1. So we're just keep multiplying by 1 and etc. 1 to the infinity, you're so like... 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 ... This will just equal 1. It doesn't matter how many times you multiply 1 by 1 because it's just going to be 1. That's a lot of times I said 1. But anyways, yes, it is 1. So just remember that's going to be a freebie if your teacher gives you that on the test. So if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos and happy studying. Okay. Evaluate 8 to the 2. So let's do... I'll have you guys take a crack at this one this time. It's 64. How do we get that? We take 8 times 8, and then we get 64 because we multiply it 2 times. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Here are the videos. Here's the video, and happy studying. Okay, boom, boom, bada boom. We are already on the last section for this first okay, powers of fractions and decimals. So, evaluate. Ooh, okay, so now we have fractions and exponents. Do they match? I mean, maybe. I mean, I would hope so. Alright, so here we are given a parenthesis. So, there are 2 ways we can approach this problem. First off, we can do the traditional way. So, we know that 2 to 2, we can just multiply it by itself. So, we can do this, and then we get 4 over 25, and this is our simplified answer. So, this would work, And there's another way you can also approach this. You can also approach it like this, where so this applies for both the numerator and the denominator. So we can put this 2 into both of these. And then we can do the method. So we can do 2 times 2 over 5 times 5. And we will get 4 and 25. If you want more information about fractions and ratios, you can check out my previous episode. But yeah, either way, it'll work. So you can either multiply twice or you can square it. So, let's see. I think it'll take fractions. So, yep, it will. So we take 4/25. That's our answer. Whoop. 4 over, hello. No. Okay, this is stupid. 4 25. No. 4/25. Please, dude, are you kidding me? 4 and 20. Dude, oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Alright, you know what? 0.1. Okay, 0. Okay, I don't know why it's not doing that. But yeah, 4/25. That was being stupid. Alright, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video, and happy studying. And yeah, you can simplify the decimals as well. If you want more information about simplifying the decimals, you can check out my previous episode. Okay, evaluate. Okay, so here we go. Now, decimals and exponents. So, let's see here. So, we can obviously multiply this. We can convert this to a fraction. If you want information about converting to fractions, there's the previous episode. If we convert 0.1 to a fraction, what will this be? So, what will it be in a fraction? 1/10, because we take 0.1 and then we multiply it by 100. So we do 0.1, we add it 100 times, we get 10, and then we divide it by 10, and then we get 1/10. So there's that, and now we just do 110, we multiply that 4 times, and 110 times 110, I'm just going to put power of 4 and power of 4. Whenever you have 10 to the power of something, the amount of zeros you will have x zeros. So whatever is the exponent up here, you'll have that many zeros. Since we have 4, we can leave 1 because anything to the power of 1 is 1. And then since we have 10 to the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1 over 10,000. So bro, are you kidding? Man. Okay, this is also the case for decimals. The only difference is that you have to include the 0 in front. So 1 over 10,000, you have 4 zeros. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing here. You just have to add the 0 because it can also be written as what's called this with the decimal point right here. And I mean, you can express it like that if you're talking about the amount of digits, like 1, 2, 3, 4, including the 1. But yeah, that's how it works. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation, here's the video, and happy studying. Okay, let's move on. Evaluate 1/5. Okay, so I'll let you guys take a crack at this one. I think this should be pretty simple. Go ahead and pause this video right now. The answer is 1 over 25. Let's see how we got that. We take 1 over 5, and we'll do let's do the multiply fraction method. We'll do 1 times 1 is 1, and then 5 times 5 is 25. So it's 1 over 25. Since Khan Academy is going to be dumb, I'm just going to put 0.04. But yes, it is 1/25 if you just want to put that. If you got that right, good job. Here's the video. How exciting. Alright, I'll have you guys take a crack at this last one as well. So go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, so let's convert 0.5 to what's it called? A fraction. So we have 50 over 100, because 100 of any decimal is just that. And then we have 50 over 100 divided by 50. I'm not going to go over that right now because you can check my previous video. We have 1/2, and then we do that squared. So we do 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. If you got that right, good job. I'll just put it as 0.25, but it is 1/4. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video, and happy studying. All right, so that is the end. We're gonna take the first quiz. So I will go ahead. Okay, so we have proficient in all of these, but I will go ahead and let you guys take the quiz. So good luck, and your quiz starts now. Good luck. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. The answer is this. I finally got Khan Academy to work, thank goodness. If you got that, good job. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. The answer is false, true, false. If you got that right, good job. Okay, so that's the end of the first quiz, and we did not test one of the topics. I don't know. Okay, let's move on to nope, we already did that. Okay, nope. Ooh, order of operations. Here we go. No exponents. Evaluate. Okay, so this was pretty simple, right? So in one of my last videos, we discussed I introduced something called PEMDAS, and this is where this is going to come into play in this section. You will need to know PEMDAS. And we did kind of demonstrate that with our exponents here. So since there's no exponents, we're going to remove the P for the E for now. So we will do PMDAS. So these are the ones that we're going to work on. So we do, and remember that these are interchangeable, so it goes from left to right. So left to right. So we're going to use those first and these last. But I don't think it's going to matter here because we have multiplication and we have subtraction. So we do multiplication first. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then subtraction. So 10 minus 6 is 4. Very good. So that means this is 4. So if you got that right, good job. Here's examples of parentheses. And if you get that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video. And happy studying. Okay, moving on. Evaluate. So let's just do a rapid fire. So we have 3 times 9 is 24. You see how I got that? Multiplication goes before subtraction, which is about to happen here. 27 minus 6 is 21. Good job. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos. And happy studying. Okay, let's move on. Evaluate. Okay, so this is on top of the 2. So whatever is on top of here, we have to do that first. I know it may not seem ideal, but that's how it works. So we have 14 minus 4, which is 10, and then 10 over 2 is 5. So 5 is our answer. And another way you can do this is that if it is 5, you can multiply 2 and 5 like we did for our cross-multiply episode. And then you can do 14 minus 4 is 10, and then you know that's true. So if you want more about cross-multiplying fractions, you can check out my previous episodes. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video. And happy studying. Okay. Evaluate 2 times 1 times 2. Okay, so 1 times 2. I'm going to let you guys take a crack at this one. And it is 4. How do we get that? We have 1 times 2, which is 2, and then we have plus 2 is 4. So that's our answer. Good job. If you got that right, good job. Here's the explanation. Here's the videos. And happy studying. You can ask me in the comments as well. Okay, so now we did that with no exponents. Now we have order operations with exponents. In other words, this is just it's probably going to focus more on exponents since there wasn't any exponents. But remember, PEMDAS. Or if you're in the UK, you use BODMAS, which I don't really... Okay, so I do know that B stands for like brackets, O stands for something, and then DMAS. But I grew up with PEMDAS, so I'm going to use that. But if you want to use BODMAS, then, well, yeah, I guess just Google it. And, okay, so let's see here. Match each expression with an equivalent expression. Okay, so here's something I'm going to teach you guys about that they usually teach in the later grades. So 2-4 over 4-2. So instead of doing all the math out, we can just do 4-2. The cool part about 4 is equal to 2, like as exponent, and that's also equal to 2 times 2, and that's also equal to 2 times 2. Fun fact, that's pretty weird, huh? But notice, 2. This can be rewritten as, give me a moment here, 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2. And exponents that are written like that can just be multiplied. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 to the 4 over 2 to the 4. And hey, these are the same, right? Any two numbers that are the same are just equal to 1. Also 2 to the power of 0, which is also equal to 1. But we'll get into that later in the we'll get into that later into this in this series. So okay, so anyways, so move on with our problem. So okay, so 2 times 3 to the 1. We just discussed that anything to the power of 1 is itself. So 3 to the 1 is 3 because we do exponents first in PEMDAS, right? And then we do 2 times 3, which is 6. And then with process of elimination, so 4 minus 2 to the power of 2 is 4. And how I got that is, we take 4 minus 2 in parentheses. We do parentheses first, and we get 2. And then we do exponents, which is 2 to the 2 is 4. So that's how I got that. So this is the answer, 1, 6, and 4. If you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos. And happy studying. Evaluate the following expression. Let's do a rapid fire here. We have 9 and 2. 9 times 9 is 81. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Minus 4. So we do left to right. So 2 plus 81 minus 4. Now, for addition and subtraction, it doesn't really matter because it's kind of interchangeable. But it kind of does matter for, like, multiplication and division. But anyways, 2 plus 81 is 83 minus 4 is 79. So 79 is the answer. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. Here's the video, and happy studying. Not a single word there, huh? All numbers. Well, I mean, except for this, but yeah, look at that. All numbers. All numbers. Okay. Evaluate the following expression. So let's do our strategy we did from last time. Instead of evaluating 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, it's really big. 5. Now, anything to the power of 1 is just itself, right? So we can put that here. When it comes to this expression, this can also be written as 5 to the power of 4 minus 1, which is 5 to the power of 3 because 4 times 4 minus 1 is 3. So that's 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So that is our answer for that, and then we have to add 4. So 125 plus 4 is 129. Good job. So that's our answer. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the explanation. And I did 625, which I don't really like. I would prefer you to just subtract, but if your teacher does want you to do that, then I completely understand, and I will feel and stand corrected. So if you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation in the videos, and happy studying. Okay, last one. I'm going to let you guys take a crack at this one, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, least to greatest. So let's see, we do PEMDAS, which is exponents first. So 11 to the power of 1, anything to the power of 1 is just 11, so that's 11. Okay, 8 squared, so that's 8 times 8, which is 64, minus 60 is 4. So that's the second one, 4. And then 2 to the power of 2 times 5 is 20. Good job. I didn't even have to go step by step. 2 to the power of 2, we do exponents first, is 4, times 5 is 20. So for least to greatest, it would be 4, 11, 20. So we have 4, 11, 20. If you got that right, good job. Here's the explanation. And here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay. So, we only have one more section to learn today. This was a very fast episode. I can't believe it. Okay, order of operations with fractions and exponents. So now we're taking the whole picture. Evaluate the expression, do not round your answer. Okay, so let's see. We have parentheses first. So let's do 1 over 7 plus 3 since it's inside. That means we get 10 and then 3. So let's do the fraction strategy. So we have 1 over 10 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. That would be 1 because 1 to the third is just 1. Anything to 1 to the power of anything is just 1. 10 times 10 times 10, we have 10 to the third, which means 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3. 1 to the power of 100. So 1 over 100. Okay, so I'll just put this. But anyways, yeah, if you did get 1,000, then good job. If you got that right, good job. Here's the explanation. Here's the examples. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, so evaluate the expression. Do not round your answer. So, parentheses first. So it looks... Okay, so it may look a little complicated since 3 is next to the 8. But let's remember that we can also write this as 3 times 24 divided by 8 over 2. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. And then to the power of 2, because we do exponents first, is 9. And then 3 times 9 is 27. So 27 is our answer. I don't know why I say do not round, because we never rounded our answer. But anyways, if you get that right, good job. Here's the explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Evaluate the expression. Do not round your answer. So 1/2, 4 times 5 minus 2/3. Let's do parentheses first. So we have 1/2 times 4 times 5 is 20. Minus 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, so we do 1/2 times 20. And remember that multiplying any number by a half is just dividing it by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. If you want more insight about that, you can check out my previous episode. And then minus 8 is 2. So 2 is our answer. Okay, so if you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, this last problem I'm going to let you guys take a crack on by yourself, and then we'll move on to the quiz and then the unit test. So, good luck. Here's the problem, and let's go ahead and try it. Okay, let's try this then. So, let's do parentheses. So, we have, parentheses first. So, we have 1 over 3, 3 to the power of 2. So, 3 to the power of 2 is 9, and then multiply by 2, which is 9. Good job. So 2 over 1, 2 times 1 is 2, and then 1 times 9 is 9. So it's 9. I'm going to hope I can get this in here. Thank goodness. 9. So here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos. And if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the stuff. And happy studying. Okay, so we just did that. Now I'm going to let you guys take quiz number 2, and then we'll take the unit test. So, are you ready? Your quiz starts now. Good luck. The answer is 12. If you got that, good job. Make sure to pause. Don't forget. Answer is 96. If you got that right, good job. 5. If you got that right, good job. Okay, so if you got 4 over 25, good job. I'm just going to put it as this. Answer is 10. If you got that, good job. Okay, so good job on the quiz, the test 1 thing. But now it's time for the unit test. So if you want to go back and review anything before the test, you are very welcome to. But anyways, your unit test starts now. Good luck. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. The answer is 1 over 8. If you got that right, good job. The answer is 3. If you got that right, good job. Okay, the answer is... Please, let me type it in. It's going to be stupid with me. Alright, if you got the... Here, I'm just going to put it this, but if you got that right, good job. If you got 1 over... If you got 1 320, then good job. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. The answer is this. If you got that right, good job. It's probably the same. The answer is... The answer is 0.0001. If you got that right, good job. The answer is this, 5. If you got that right, good job. The answer is this. No, it's not over 2. It's over... Gosh dang it. Why is this thing not communicating with me? Holy cow. Good grief. Yeah, this thing hates me. Okay, so I'll just manually type it, I guess. So let's do... Oh, for goodness sake. Okay. 5. Okay, boom. If you got 6 over 5, good job. And, okay, if you got 16 over 81, good job. Let me see if I can type it in. Okay, please, please, please tell me I can put this into the calculator or something. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, okay, I can't put this in. I can't put this in. Okay, I can. Okay, boom. If you got it right, good job. Okay, so that is the end of Unit 5. If you did perfect on this entire lesson, then great job. If you didn't, then you might want to go and check back. And if you need help, then you can go and ask me. You can use the videos. But otherwise, great job, everyone. Our next episode, we will be going over variables and expressions. That's going to be really big in Algebra 1. But anyways, I'm Landon Pitts. I was your tutor mentor. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.